And generally, it seemed to me like there was just a sense of like a willingness to get serious about your business. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Because you're here is an indication of a commitment and a seriousness about moving, you know, taking your business however you landed here. Whether it was, I want to open a family care business, and then, you know, and you were very intentional about it, or did you just find yourself here because you know, it met some needs and it was a side business, and now you're like, oh, I really want to take this a little bit more seriously. However you landed here, we want to make sure that we're moving you toward having a more committed, serious business that works for you. Okay, we don't want you guys just, you know, emptying your tank. And I say that a lot because I think that this idea, especially in a caregiving business, it's so easy, and you guys have heard this many, many times, for your tank to run dry with everything that you have going on. You can't continue to run your business successfully if you don't make filling your tank a priority. And however you do that, you know, is your own, you know, that's your own decision. But we want to make sure that we're getting that, making that a priority for you. So, yeah, I think, is there anything else, John, Hannah, from the surveys, or is there anything else that I missed in this sort of overview of where you all are as a class?
I think you pretty well covered it, yeah.
Agreed.
Cool. Does anybody want to pipe in and add something that I might have missed? I'll be presenting in session 3 about what we're going to do is be breaking down revenues for one class and expenses for another. So Dawn is our expert on all of the potential revenue sources that are available to you, whether it's grants. So she just told me about grants that are available to those who are registered with the Secretary of State. Of course, we'll be talking about all the subsidies, CCAP, you know, the food program, all of that. But we're also going to be looking at your rates. So we're going to, you know, take a look at what the market is charging, what the average is, what makes sense for you in your neighborhood and locale, and seeing if you're charging something that really is appropriate to the level of care that you're offering. So we're really going to try to break these classes down into really logical pieces of, you know, next week we'll look at marketing, or at legal structure, and beginning the conversation around budgets. Session 3, we'll be looking at revenues. 4, we're going to break down expenses. That's where we're going to get into the really fun conversation around how to best organize your expenses. And Lauren, who's going to be here next week, is a whiz at this, you guys. Like, she is, who's the woman who has the show that's all about organizing on Netflix? What's her name? Marie Kondo, right? Isn't that her name? Right. So we're going to Marie Kondo your expense trails, you guys, so that it will make it really easy for you all to be able to categorize expenses in a way that makes it just flow. And again, it'll just be some behavioral changes for those of you who may feel like you want to organize a little bit better. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a few quick slides. We're probably gonna end early tonight. We'll have a little bit of time at the end for questions, and John's gonna actually pull up Clarimentis and show you what those screens look like. But I just wanna go through a few. Okay, that should do it, yes?
It's good.
Okay, agreements. Okay, so as a class, I'd like to get buy-in for a few things, just because what we'll be sharing here, we at the SBDC take confidentiality really, really seriously. So when you sign up, which you did, we cannot share any business information with anyone outside of the consultant client relationship. So whatever you share here in class stays within this class, and anything that you share with Dawn or John or Hannah or myself stays with us. So we take that very seriously. And we also ask that you all do that as a courtesy to your peers. I don't think this is going to be an issue with this group, but, you know, we want to be cognizant of, you know, not offering unsolicited advice unless it's asked for, or that, you know, there's not a lot of interruptions or crosstalk. You guys are super respectful of that. This is more my slide when I'm teaching 19-year-olds at Front Range. You know, be present to the extent that you can. So if you're really tired, being present may just simply be being here, which I talked about before, but just notice, like, be in the moment and really employ, give people the gift of your authentic listening skills. So really listen for what your peers are asking for in terms of feedback or advice, and, you know, give them the gift of honest feedback, you guys. So in the same way that you want to know what people really think about your business, offer that to your peers if it's invited, because it can be really helpful. We can all be in bubbles and not really see what the outside world is seeing with respect to our business. Step up, step back is, you know, if you're the person that's the first person to raise your hand, just practice with waiting until, you know, those of us who may be more introverted have the opportunity to share. Again, I don't think this is an issue with this group at all. And, you know, notice. We're going to be talking about some business tools and tips. We're also going to be talking about mindset. We're also going to be talking about self-awareness. The entrepreneurial journey is one of personal growth and increased self-awareness. Some of these steps that may be triggering to you with some long-held beliefs. So just notice if stuff comes up like, oh, I don't like that, or that's not for me, or, you know, if you have a resistance to something, all we ask is that you be curious and you be willing to just think about some of these areas that actually may, you know, may be not for you, and that might be legitimate, but at least consider these, because these are areas of growth and stretching to the edges of our comfort zone. Is there anything else in terms of agreements that anyone else feels is really important for us to raise as a group? Okay, so I'm going to take that as assent from the group that we're all on board with these agreements. So I want to talk a little bit about the overview. So the goal is learning more about your dream business, the next steps and the areas to work on, and also yourself as an entrepreneur. And we're going to talk about what does it mean to be an entrepreneur, which is what you all are, whether you put that label on yourself or not. So this first session is really just about getting to know each other, agreeing to the, you know, the group commitments. And then we'll be talking a little bit about what does it mean to be a successful entrepreneur. So that'll be tonight. Like I said, we'll probably end just a little bit early because follow-up sessions are going to be pretty heavy on content. Second session is when we'll have Lauren Metz, our CPA, come in, and she'll help us with looking at the overview of managing a budget and cash flow. We will be talking about organizational structure, legal structure, some taxes, etc. So that'll be a session that you won't want to miss. And of course, these are all recorded, so you can catch up with them after class, but you won't have the opportunity to really ask your unique questions to Lauren. So it'd be really great to meet with, to attend that session. The third one is one that Dawn's gonna take the lead on. So it's gonna be how are we gonna maximize revenues? So looking at all of those, the money in, you know, pouring the money into the pitcher, if you will. And also looking at ways in which we have money leaks. So, you know, stopping a money leak is a form of revenue in a way, in a negative sort of a sense. So we're going to be looking and taking a look at your business and asking you to bring in your information so that you can work on it yourself to see, are there ways that I can be getting more money out of this business while keeping myself sane? The fourth session is on the other side of the equation, right? Money in, money out is the, the flow of currency. And so we're going to look at the expense side of the equation. So are there ways that you can minimize expenses or try to consolidate them in a way that it stops the flow out? Well, again, you're still taking care of yourself. A lot of you talked about insurance. So we actually are going to bring an insurance broker in. He's going to do a brief presentation on the importance of business insurance. It's amazingly affordable, you guys. So we want to make sure that you're looking at all of your options to keep yourself and your business safe. So that's part of taking your business seriously, is looking at risk management. We'll also be looking at budgeting systems. And then the fifth session is we'll be consolidating all of this information in an action plan for you. So it'll be a working session where we're pulling all the information that you've been gathering, and you're going to put it in action items and steps so that you have a clear path forward, and you make a commitment to this plan, which is a commitment to your business and a commitment to yourself. And then the last session, we'll have a little graduation party with some surprise guests, like we talked about last week. Okay, so I want to talk just a little bit about the label of an entrepreneur. And I know for myself and my own business, I had a toy store, I've had a consulting business, I've done a lot of things in my life, and I never really thought of myself as an entrepreneur. Like, that's Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos, or they have these skills that I don't have. I'm just a woman out there slogging around trying to make money and pay the bills. And I really want you all to really soak in this idea that you all are entrepreneurs. You all are business women and men. You are doing everything every single day that entrepreneurs do. And I just want to make an assertion that you all are brilliant at it, because the very jobs that you do are the skills that an entrepreneur, that makes a great entrepreneur. You have to multitask and juggle things. So you're thinking about, what am I going to make for lunch? And then how am I going to, do the paperwork for CCAP, and how am I going to talk to this family about their child? And those are all the skill sets of an entrepreneur. So I just want you all to really claim this label and let that soak in, because it's part of the self-affirmation and self-confidence in building your business, is how you think about yourself and your own skill set. I'm really proud of that graphic. And the animation. This is another way of thinking about this progression, and it's a lot of times people in the gig economy, or they just sort of fall into a business, really don't take it as seriously maybe as others who may have gotten investment funding, or really started a business with a high level of capital. And I just want to talk about how it's fraught with a lot of ups and downs, and you all know that, especially those of you who've been around for 20 years. You've survived the ups and the downs, but really it's an up and a down, but it's also a progression, right? Of the more seriously and committed you take your business, the more progress you're going to make in going from more of a side income, or, oh, I just have this business on the side, it makes a little bit of extra money, to really committing to and respecting your business as an extension of yourself. The more you do that, you will find the more that you're able to attract the clients who will also value you, pay you what you're worth, and find yourself in a more nurturing environment, because you're nurturing your business. I've seen it happen again and again and again. And sometimes it's challenging, because we don't often like to think of ourselves as business people. I mean, there's a lot wrapped up in that label, which is the entrepreneurial mindset. So a ton of books have been written about this. Some people might say, well, this is like the woo-woo side of business, but there's no workshop on business worth its salt that isn't going to tackle this idea of how you think about your business and how you think about your own business savvy and business skills. And I just want to affirm you all already have it in spades. Some part of the challenge is just accepting it and celebrating that you have it and really allowing that to create confidence in yourself, right? So one of the things that I'm actually going to have you guys go out into your small groups, but I want you to think about, because sometimes our beliefs about what does it mean to be a successful entrepreneur, successful business person, is stuff that we don't want, that we don't really want to identify with. Oh, if I'm successful in my business, I'll become greedy. If I'm successful in my business, then, you know, I'll turn into someone who doesn't care about other people, or I'll be all about the money, or whatever. It doesn't matter really. It's, you know, a lot of times it's your own beliefs around being successful. And a lot of times it's wrapped up in you know, what we believe to be true about money and making money and keeping money. And money is just a euphemism for value, right? So how you think about value, how you think about money, and if you have some blocks or some negative, you know, beliefs around it, it can serve to keep it away. So we really want to be, this falls into that notice category of like, as this comes up, if I charge more, what does that bring up in me? Do I really feel like I can legitimately claim that? Or for some of you, you may, yeah, heck yeah, I'm going to just charge and I'm going to feel great about it. For others of you, it might be a little bit more challenging, or it may be something, you know, it may be something else. I don't know. I don't want to challenge the licensing system or the people who are in charge, or whatever it might be for you. But we all have some limiting beliefs, no matter what, when we decide we want to build and grow our business. And so the challenge becomes really saying, okay, I'm gonna get to know those beliefs and come to terms with them, because it's the resistance that can keep us really stuck. So what I'd like to do is if you guys can just, like, there's not a way for me to for us to share this slide in your breakout rooms, but we're actually going to put you all in the breakout rooms that you'll be with for the rest of the course. You'll be in teams of 3, and we're just going to put you out in the rooms, and we want you to just really think about these questions. Do you have any blocks around becoming more successful, or charging more money, or, you know, whatever it is that you're saying, or even maybe becoming more organized? You may have some beliefs around, like, if I become more organized, then ... Not sure what that might be for you. But if you all can just, like, sit with these questions, like, what makes you excited about being a successful entrepreneur? What do you need to learn? How might your relationship to money change? Do you have any fears or concerns of being successful, and will it change you in some way, positive or negative? So if you guys can just, like, jot these questions down, because maybe we can, I don't think we can put them in chat that you can see them in the breakout room. So I'll just give you a minute. Actually, we'll just pull you back and we'll see if
I can put them in the chat.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not sure that they can see them in the chat though. Okay, Gary's got it. So basically, you know what we're getting at. It's just kind of sharing, are there any blocks that you might have to really meeting those goals that you set for yourself? Or do you feel really solid and good? Or is there a way in your own, you know, developing your entrepreneurial mindset and thinking of yourself as a serious, successful business person that, you know, you might want to just have a conversation about?
Okay. How's that look?
Looks good.
Okay. So when you first come to the platform, you'll need to log in. And for most everyone, I made your login um, credentials your first and last name with just a period between the two. And so if you ever forget, that's what it was. And as a password, the introductory password was welcome123, all lowercase, unless I sent you anything different. And the system should prompt you when you log in to change your password. That way you can't log into somebody else's and see their assignments and things. So I've already logged in here. I'm not going to bore you with showing you how to log into a website. I think everybody's probably got that part dialed. But what you'll see on any given week when you log in is it should have your name here. This is my alter ego, Johnny Student. I'm undercover, as you can tell from the hat there. When you first log in, it may not have a photo of you because it doesn't know who you are. It's up to you if you want to put a photo there or not, and I'll show you how you can do that in a moment. The first area that I would like to show you is this discussion board right here. And I just put sort of a pinned post here that says, please introduce yourself and check back for announcements and discussions. And this is great because one thing Angela mentioned is we have to protect everyone's confidentiality. And so I can't send you all a group email because I can't share your email addresses amongst the group. So I can email you directly, but I usually will keep those emails as a BCC. But if you want to just start a discussion with anybody, then you could put a post here in this discussion board and people can comment back and forth on what's going on in the class. You can always put a question in there and, you know, Sue, Nicole, Angela, Hannah, and I will see your question and hop on there and give our opinions. So it's a very useful idea for that, the discussion board. A little bit below there is all the people of the course. And if you go to your particular name and click on it, then it'll bring up your profile. And that's how you could change your photo. So here's me, Johnny Student. If I just click this little pencil, and it'll let me change the photo to something else. And anytime you make a change, you just have to hit at the bottom there, update. So that's all very well and good. The course material you're going to find by clicking on this graduation cap here that says access your course. So when you click on the graduation cap, it will bring you right over to where we have the childcare business fundamentals materials. And right now we have sort of two chapters. We have one that's just a resource library, and we'll be adding to this throughout the course. So you can always check back in there anytime we find an interesting article or maybe something that is more of a reference material that you want to look back at later. We'll put it in there. And then we have material for week one here. So let's click on week one and take a look at what's in there for you this week. When you first go to one of these links, so week one, she's holding up a one, that's why I picked that image, but you can see how everything is, it's kind of grayed out a little bit, and that's because this program, for one reason or another, it wants you to click this button that says enroll on this course. And when you click that button, are you sure you want to enroll? Yes, I am. Now everything will be open, and you can visit the various articles that we've picked for you this week. So we have several selections. This first one is an article, very short, but it talks a little bit about a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And so you can read that, and that should give you something to think about. We have a video from sort of an entrepreneur coach named Simon Sinek, and you can click on this link and watch that video. It's also very good. And then we have two more guides that might be useful for you to look at as well. This one is the Colorado Business Startup Process. And when you read that chart, it will kind of give you the idea for how different businesses are formed. And you don't need to take any action on that until maybe after next week. But if you look over that material before next week, it will make Lauren's talk a little bit more, you'll be ready for it, because your brain will already be thinking about, okay, I remember that process of LLC registration versus sole proprietorship and so forth. And then finally, ECPAC has a pretty handy handbook that they call their home planning guide. And so we put a link to that here as well. And, you know, when we're designing this course, we actually are looking at this guide quite a bit, and it'll be good for you to take a look at that as well. You might be able to jump to some sections if you haven't seen this before and answer some of your questions. So 4 resources for you here in week 1. Going back, that resource library that I mentioned, you'll also have to click enroll on this course to look at that. But we have even more resources. And like I said, we'll be going into that a little bit more and adding things throughout the course. Back to the home screen, in case we missed anything, we may give you some assignments to do. And this button here, when you click the upload assignments button, it will take you to your folder. Here's my folder, Johnny Student. And if I click that, there's nothing in the folder right now. But if I had done an assignment, then I could use this green button, add document, and it would prompt me to upload that file. And that's how you can turn in your assignments. If this is complicated and you're like, John, I don't like this at all, you can also just email us your assignments at any time, and I can put it in here for you. Anything, if this gets confusing, just send me an email, and I'm happy to take a look at it for you. The last is the small groups button over here, and this is just for reference, really. My panel might look a little bit different than yours, but what you should see when you click that, oh, it says I have no access to this admin panel. Well, I'll make sure that you get access to this panel, but it will just show you who are the people that were in your groups today, and you'll be able to see those people as well. So that's what that button is for. I think I mentioned last week, upcoming events. We'll try to have anything interesting going on put in here. And Tuesday, how should I organize this webinar? You actually don't need to go to this webinar at 11 o'clock, because we're going to replay this one for you during class next week. So don't worry about that. Unless you want to see it twice for some reason, then you can also visit that on Tuesday. But we will have Lauren in class next week, so you'll have the opportunity to ask her all the questions that you want. So that is the online learning platform. And to Linda and Krista, during the class, I did send you an email just now with your login and password. If anybody else did not get a login or password, just send me an email and I'll fix it right away. Yeah, that should be great. The other thing that I want to show you while I've got you is the North Metro SBDC website. If you've never been here, this is an interesting website to poke around on. This is for the center, and we have a couple different resources. If you want to set up a consulting session, you can always do that right here. You can see whatever workshops we're offering in the distant future here. And we also just started a blog that you can click on. If you're like, I just love this reading, they're not giving me enough in my class, we have some blog entries here as well. And always welcome to poke around on the SBDC website and see what's going on.
Hey, John, can you just show real quick the video library tab? So we started recording all of our webinars. Can you show them that? It's under resources, I think. Yeah,
I would love to. So going back to the home screen, when you first get here, you'll see, about, consulting, programs, blog, resources. And under resources is this video library. Bam. And the video library is growing rapidly. These are all the webinars that we've run in 2020. And so you can see this copyright one that we ran just this week. And then you can scroll back and see all of the different webinars that we've run. They're all free. And you can also sort at the top if you're interested in one particular area of business. I want to see what they talked about marketing, for example. It will filter that down and you can see exactly what we've been up to. So yeah, that could be a useful tool as well for you, the video library.
John, is that available to anybody who wants to look at your website?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thanks.
24/7.
All right.
Yeah, we currently don't have any resources on our website that are for fee or paywall blocked in any way. So it's all accessible to you.
And John, where would people find, if they miss a class, where, or Hannah, where would they find the recordings and it'll all, you know, that it's hidden, basically?
Great. So after each class, like after tonight, what I do is I do record the Zoom meeting, and it takes me a little bit of time. I have to remove some of the material that might be revealing of any business details, but I'll keep the core of the lesson intact, and I will upload that to YouTube, but it won't be a public link. So you'll get an email from me tomorrow that says, here's the video from session 1. It's private, please don't share it, but it's for your review. And then I will also, under access your course, I will also add the video to the week 1 material. So by tomorrow, when you look at this, you'll also see a video link that says video from class number 1, and you can rewatch the lesson there. So you have it 2 different ways each week.